Hi, good afternoon. This is Charlie McGee with FranNet from Seattle, Washington, and I want to welcome everybody that's joining us. And for those of you that are listening to this as a recorded call, you should be able to get through it in about the time it takes to drink a large coffee. So we'll get right to it. Um, Dry cleaning and laundry service franchise. We're focusing on one concept today, and here's the reason why we are excited about it, about this particular vertical and this particular franchisor. This is a steady, recession-resistant, non-fad industry. Amazon, Walmart, and Google proof. This is something that caters to multiple generations. It's a repeat business where customers really stay with you for the long term. There's multiple revenue and profit centers in one business model, and it has the potential for growing into a semi-absentee business model. It doesn't happen right away, but it's a flexibility that you can work your way toward. At the end of the presentation, I'll have a couple of notes on next steps if you want to learn more, or if it's just time to re-engage with your local FranNet consultant. Again, thanks for joining us today. And I want to introduce Martinizing Dry Cleaning and Joe Gonzalez. Joe, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you, Charlie. Yes, as Charlie said, my name is Joe Gonzalez. I'm the Director of Franchise Development for Martinizing International, and I'm pleased to provide this high-level overview of this re-energized brand that's integrated an Uber-type technology to the dry cleaning industry. It's a game changer for sure, especially with millennials, and more on that in a minute. So just a little background on me before I get started. I have over 26 years of franchise experience representing a number of retail and mobile-based service brands prior to working with Martinizing. I also owned a mobile automotive franchise with my husband. In addition, I've worked with FranNet most of my career, and I will validate that you won't find a more dedicated group of franchise professionals working to help their candidates find a franchise fit. So stick with them, whether it's Martinizing or something else. I guarantee you'll find what you're looking for. In the next 15 minutes, I'm going to cover the key highlights of this revolutionized brand. So be prepared to be surprised. This is not your grandfather's Martinizing dry cleaning concept. The Martinizing dry cleaning brand, we've been around since 1948, and there's over 200 franchisees in the US and another 200 internationally. It's an iconic brand and one that stood the test of time. But like every brand, it needed to evolve to meet consumer demand. So long story short, the company I work for, the Huntington Company, purchased Martinizing in 2014. And with the casualization of Americans and consumer demand for convenience, this new leadership team evolved this mature brand by listening to the voice of today's dry cleaning consumers. Very significant. So now candidates looking for the security of a mature brand with the excitement of a new brand are really taking a hard look at Martinizing. Just a few more things. Just for one moment, I want you to think about what Uber did to the taxi industry, what Airbnb did to the hotel industry, what Amazon has done to the retail industry, and the impact that Netflix has had on the video store industry. So as it relates to the revitalization through technology, this is exactly what Martinizing has done to the dry cleaning industry. So we've added new technology to an old industry, in addition to changing the business model to an all acquisition business model. And so this takes dry cleaning to a whole new level, and we're leading the industry in doing so. So the biggest takeaway, again, before we get started, in our market research after we acquired Martinizing was that Martinizing had incredible strong brand awareness. 62% of respondents who were dry cleaning users were aware of the brand. And then secondly, the research revealed that millennials were also very familiar with the brand, and that's a huge dominant force in the economy. We want to make sure that we drive customers to that market. And so in a minute, I'm going to show you a little bit more. Before I do, we're going to talk about why Martinizing. So it's affordable, scalable, and profitable. So the business model helps franchisees purchase existing dry cleaners and rebrand them into Martinizing with existing cash flow and customers day one. It's multi-unit retail with a mobile service component, so the ability to purchase multiple retail units, which is typical, and then combine them with the mobile revenue streams is important to the scalability and the profitability. Today, most franchisees start out purchasing the rights to multiple retail units. So not only is this important for scalability, but it's also a strategy for market dominance. Legendary brand and category leader confirmed per the market research I referred to earlier. There are 6 profit centers in one model, creating diversification, reoccurring revenue, repeat business. Who doesn't like repeat business, right? The business model is also one where the owner can eventually, as Charlie said, transition to semi-absentee with a manager. So here's the game changer, folks. Next slide will show that this on-demand technology, this integrated technology, which has been referred to as the Uber of dry cleaning, captures customers in ways that no other dry cleaners can. So utilizing an app that's downloaded to your smartphone, consumers request dry cleaning and pickup the same way that you use Uber for airport pickup and return. So the Martinizing Delivers app, it works with our lockers and mobile routes, as you'll see in a minute. Multi-generational appeal, from boomers to Gen X to our surprised millennials, who are huge users of our pickup and delivery app and convenience lockers, especially when it comes to laundry. Flexible, freedom, family-friendly business hours allows franchisees to run their business versus having their business run them. Many of our owners have been in business for decades and have family members working in the business as well. So the dry cleaning industry is a $9 billion industry, and it is expected to grow 4% over the next 5 years. And while Martinizing is the category leader, the industry is still fragmented, meaning there's a lot of independent owners, moms and pops in the marketplace, which frankly creates a great opportunity for Martinizing franchisees, as our business model is all about taking market share versus adding more dry cleaners to a market. So this allows a franchisee to start up with existing cash flow and customers day one. To be clear, once folks are franchisees, we help them purchase existing cash flow dry cleaners and rebrand them, and then add those other revenue streams. So let's take a look at the multiple revenue streams. We find most people use the terms dry cleaning without really realizing all the different services provided. So this slide speaks to the diversification and other services we provide under this catch-all phrase. The trend we're capitalizing on right now is millennials who don't want to spend time doing their laundry. This area of the business is up dramatically. When we take a look at the millennial market and how they do business with us, we find that they are some of the biggest laundry customers. Next slide talks about national brand awareness. In the market research that I mentioned earlier, we found that 62% of respondents identified Martinizing as having the best brand name recognition. When respondents were asked about who had the second best dry cleaning brand name awareness, 25% of respondents could not name another dry cleaning brand. So drilling down further in the study, as indicated earlier, revealed to our surprise that millennials also had a high level of brand awareness. They were also more inclined to switch dry cleaners for a dry cleaner that provided more convenient service and the ability to do business on their smartphone. Who would have thought, eh? So you'll see where we went with this in the next slide. So again, from a very high level, there are now several revenue streams. So at the center is the plant, which has retail in the front, plant in the back with about 2,500 square feet. The plant location is where the dry cleaning and the laundry is done. The plant does all the dry cleaning that comes from its own retail customer, and the other revenue streams, which we call spokes around the hub there, which are pictured there in the slide. And you can see the spokes consist of drop-off and pickup stores, pickup and delivery app, office and residential mobile routes, servicing offices and residential customers. So I want to spend a little time on this slide here. First, the drop and pickup store. Again, these are also acquisitions. These stores are small footprints, low overhead. They're strategically located to maximize market share. So like the rest of the revenue streams, dry cleaning is taken to the hub for cleaning. Again, the hub being the plant store. So moving to the lockers. Lockers are placed in the office or apartment complexes at no charge to the property managers as an amenity to employers or residents. So the price is right. We don't charge them, they don't charge us. Our company store here in Michigan has over 180 buildings with lockers in it. and they're in the suburbs and in downtown Detroit. And just to give you some insight, we placed lockers in a building that had a dry cleaner store already there. In 6 months, this retailer was gone. They just cannot compete with the 24/7 convenience of the app and the lockers. On the residential side, we had property managers tell us their utility bills have actually gone down because their tenants are not using the laundry room. They're using our lockers with the app. So utilizing the downloaded app, customers notify Martinizing that their dry cleaning and laundry in the lockers is ready for pickup, and then the Martinizing mobile route manager receives the notifications and makes the pickup and delivers back to the locker after cleaning. And this can be 1 day, it could be 2 days. It's typically not more than two. The app works in conjunction with the convenience lockers and can work alone by itself. This is an important distinction. So at the top of the screen, you see the mobile component of Martinizing. The standard feature in this revenue stream has always been mobile pickup and delivery of dry cleaning for office buildings and residential customers. But now the mobile routes are increasing production with the other spokes and increasing that production to an already cash flowing store, which ladders up to increased production and profitability. So if you take nothing else away from this presentation, take away that the routes are the key to increased profitability. The routes driving volume to the plant store increases productivity and as a result drives up the profitability of an already cash flowing plant store. Next slide talks about the reoccurring revenue. So when you're looking for repeat business, Martinizing delivers, no pun intended there. 60% of Martinizing customers have been with us for 6 years. Compare that with other dry cleaners at 34%. Next slide talks about nearly 50% of Martinizing customers use us once a week. Compare that to 12% to other dry cleaners. So here's a side note to this as it relates to the demand for convenience. In training, we encourage our franchisees to convert retail customers to route customers. Why? Well, we found that 30% of our customers, when asked, will convert to route customers and do business with us on an average 2 times a week versus 1 time a week with the retail customers. And the tickets are bigger. Next slide talks about providing perfect work-life balance. And Martinizing the business model lends itself well to having a great work-life balance. Family-friendly hours where an owner-manager can just transition to a semi-absentee business model with the manager. With a cloud-based business management system, you could be in Aruba and check in on your business. The next slide talks about the ideal candidate. Our ideal candidate is one who has managed time, people, and money, and who has a vision for building a big business. And frankly, someone who likes winning, who's customer service oriented, and who understands successful relationships are built on mutual trust. The next slide talks about our professional backgrounds. While we have franchisees from all walks of life, this is a snapshot of some of the most recent franchisees who have come on board. I believe it's important for you to understand that you don't need to have a dry cleaner's background to be successful. We're more interested in leveraging your senior level business management skills and your vision for scaling a big business. So now let's turn to the investment. So we're talking about acquiring a cash flowing plant store with retail in the front, plant equipment that does the dry cleaning and laundry in the back, and rebranding it to Martinizing. This is running between $419,650 and $735,925, and is a total package with franchise fees, working capital, marketing, van, etc. Go ahead and Google dry cleaners in any midsize or major market. There are dozens of dry cleaners out there that don't have an exit strategy and are interested in talking to us. So by purchasing and converting these independents, rebranding them, and adding technology, systems, and additional revenue streams, franchisees can have cash flow faster than any startup can. Again, we're not adding more dry cleaners to the market. We're taking market share. The goal is market domination. So compare this to building a startup dry clean plant, which can run between $500,000 and $700,000 with zero cash flow. So let's look at the pickup and drop stores that are next here. Most franchisees are, as I said, are multiple store owners and typically end up converting a plant and 1 to 2 drop stores. Drop stores are running $160,400 to $324,000. But please note that each acquisition gives franchisees the rights to develop routes commercial and residential lockers with the Martinizing Delivers app at no extra cost. So what we're looking for is people who have a net worth of 750,000 plus and liquid capital in the ballpark of 90 to 150,000, depending on the cost of the cash flowing business. The good news is that banks love Martinizing. They love the Martinizing deal because it's a cash flowing entity. It's less risky than a startup. And they look at the franchise fees as going towards your 20% down cash injection that they require. So when you look at our financial representation, it's going to show that franchisees own an average of 1.7 stores with monthly gross sales of 67,256. If you take that times 12, that's 807,072. Our route sales are not in there. If you take the route sales and you add those to the 807,072, our route sales add an additional 292,284. The annual sales, that's an average, and this is all in the FDD. So if you add those two together, our annual sales for our franchisees are at the $1 million mark. In summary, Martinizing is re-energized with multiple revenue streams, ability to scale to increase profitability, game-changing technology that meets the millennial demand for convenience. We're well positioned to continue as a dominant force in the dry cleaning industry. And we're very excited to work with FranNet to find great Martinizing franchise partners, particularly in the areas of California, Oregon, Washington State, that whole northwest area of the U.S. There's lots of opportunities out there in the Northwest and in the California market. Thank you once again, Charlie, for the opportunity to talk about Martinizing, and back to you.
Well, Joe, thank you so much. You're right. There's so much so many cool things that Martinizing is doing, which addresses a lot of what I hear from clients in terms of their concerns with location-based businesses and, the death of retail and this sort of thing. This is a really interesting antidote to some of those concerns. I really appreciate those of you that are on the call and those of you that have carved out a little time in your schedule to listen to it. I'm sure this probably sounds like a broken record if you've already spoken with your FranNet consultant, but being successful in business is all about finding the right opportunity for you at the right time. And there very well may be all of your boxes being checked with Martinizing. But the first question is, what are those boxes? What is it that's going to make a great match for you? What is a realistic budget based on your kind of current personal balance sheet? What are the strengths that you have used to build a successful career, and how can you best incorporate those into your role as a business owner? How is the business going to help you accomplish what you're trying to as a business owner? And we will cover all of those things. It starts with your personal franchise assessment, and there's a link. That's my link at the top, C. McGee. But if you reach out to your local FranNet representative, they can share that with you. We dearly appreciate your interest in business ownership and in entrepreneurism. We're here as a resource and a guide, and look forward to connecting with you, very soon. Joe, thanks again for sharing a terrific presentation today on a really exciting brand.
My pleasure, Charlie. Thank you.
Hope everybody has a great week. Thanks so much.